How's it going, everybody? Data here, and welcome back to the Seattle Kraken franchise mode, episode number 13 here in the 2024 off season. Happy New Year to everyone here on the channel. 2022, the first upload of the year. If you saw my Happy New Year post, it was a crazy 2021, my first full year of content creation. It's now been close to 2 years, as March is the channel's anniversary, coming up in a couple of months now. And in those 2 months, we've gone from a couple hundred subscribers that I had from like 2008 on Club Penguin to now having over 3,500 subscribers here. Fantastic community on the YouTube channel, in the Discord server. Very proud of all we've built. So thank you to everyone for that. Hope that you had a wonderful new year and were able to celebrate one way or another, keeping as safe as possible as always. And moving in now to the 2024 off season, we are coming off of a tough playoff exit in Game 7 overtime of round number 2 against the Arizona Coyotes in the Western Conference semifinals there. They went on to lose to the Canucks in 7, who won the Stanley Cup. One of our rivals, of course, in this series. It was a brutal loss. We were up 3-2, was it in the game? Well, we were up in the game. Nick Schmaltz tied it up with 32 seconds left. We went to overtime, and Shane Wright won it. So we do have some things to think about, some expiring contracts, some interesting draft pick opportunities, and a strong enough draft class. And you know what? A lot of money to spend if we so choose. Trying to figure out more what are the roster spots, though, because although we have the money, it's a pretty crowded team. We're trying to figure out who gives us the best chance to go as far as possible after we've been in the playoffs all 3 seasons of our existence, but it's been round 2, game 7, round 1, game 5, round 2, game 7. We need to go deeper in year number 4 now that we're finally getting to a level in which that is kind of expected. Pat loved that final 30 seconds of game 7 when Schmaltz tied it up. 39-10 to 39-40 in the last video. Maybe the most fun 30 seconds you've ever posted, howling with laughter. This has been excellent. Glad you found some enjoyment, Pat. If it wasn't for Elvis Merzlikins, we probably could have got it done, man. Classic Elvis. Vinny says, this upcoming draft looks really promising. In my opinion, if we want to trade up for someone in the top 10, like Poirier, right down here, there he is, Francois Poirier, then I would advise you not to get rid of your second round picks unless you want to upgrade them. There are some really good players who have good potential that you can pick up in that round. Hart, Knights, Wideman, etc. So yeah, in the second round, there are a lot of medium top 6 players, which are just as good as the players in the middle of the first round, it seems like. So picking at 19, I'm not sure if I'm sold on that. Either we would be trading up or trading down. And the issue with trading up, as Andrew will get to in his comment, I'm going to start off with his comment at the top, though. He said that he'd love to see us start calling up some kids from the farm. Each year, for every team, you always seem to be kind of in the same on-the-brink mode, and you always go out and get the veterans to solidify that lineup, whether it be, Eric Stahl, Jordan Eberle. The only team I see doing that in the real world lately is my Bruins, and it always backfires on us, essentially ruining the golden years for our core of Bergeron, Marchand, Tuukka. Always close, but never really in Stanley Cup contention. I think realistically, a lot of teams are now giving their kids a shot, and we're seeing more kids step up and make a name for themselves. That being said, we've seen a lot of kids in past franchise modes lose their potential / end up busting in the AHL because they never got their shot in the NHL. I think when we start whatever our next franchise team is, we should try to set realistic targets for our kids / picks in year 1. For example, Mason Shaw, say that we want him in the NHL by year 3. Otherwise, we get another vet and then Shaw gets buried. The other thing where I think we've fallen a bit from reality is that we seem to move up in every draft now. The last 2 drafts, we have moved up to the 4th overall pick. Not big jumps in our selections, but we did move up to 4th in back-to-back years. So we dump players / picks to get into the top 10. That's fine once in a while, but I feel we've been doing it a bit too much, like I said, in back-to-back seasons. Great video as always, Data. Hope your holiday season has been good to you and your family. Thank you very much, Andrew. Comments like this are so important because it's important to, refocus, ground ourselves in reality. And it does make a lot of sense. Guys like Shaw, Berube, they need to get called up to the team. We can't have them stay in the AHL forever. We can't keep signing more $1.5 million guys in free agency for the 4th line. If it so happens that the guys we call up don't work out, then so be it. But we should be giving these guys a chance, and that's what we're going to be doing, at least in the preseason of this upcoming year, to see what they can do. I'm looking forward to seeing what Mason Shaw, for example, can do now moving into year number 4. He was our expansion draft selection from the Minnesota Wild. The draft is another fantastic point because we've done well the last couple of years. We let Shane Wright go to Arizona. We let Connor Bedard go to Pittsburgh. But nonetheless, we still have traded into the top 5 in back-to-back years. We didn't just give up garbage to do that, but we did do it. So unless that team is really looking to trade that pick and the value really lines up, we'll probably take a little bit of a break from that, especially now since we're a solid enough team. We have our prospects, we have Jiricek, we have Marco, we have good players who are ready to roll with. We don't need to keep adding more medium elite talent, which just causes trouble in years 7, 8, 9, 10 when the salary cap doesn't work anymore. So that's a great point from Andrew. I appreciate that comment. So unless a team really wants to trade their pick and the value really lines up, we probably will not be trading up in this episode, although there are very tempting prospects like the offensive defenseman at number 2 and François Poirier. Legend agrees here that we should try to get as many early second rounders as possible since there's a ton of top 6 mid-first round equivalents there. Moving to Jack's comment here, starting with the re-sign, he would not re-sign Donskoy or Eberle unless we go for a head coaching change, which I would recommend if possible. Your chemistry is atrocious, and you would need guys to help that. Eberle would, but he's asking for way too much, especially there isn't really much room for him. In the draft, a top 6 forward as the potential of the number 6 overall guy worries me for the strength of the class. I 100% agree on that. Maybe moving for as many guaranteed guys as possible might be the best course of action. Couldn't agree more there. I wouldn't be surprised if there are some like high top 9s somewhere in the first round. For the players, Brathwaite at first overall, a gem at number 1 is intriguing. I've never seen that before in my franchise, in any franchise mode, neither have I. Maybe an immediate second liner or something. Not saying you have to go after him. I don't know if you have reasonable capital to go after the pick, but I've never witnessed that before, so certainly a guy to keep an eye on. But again, unless the team really wants to trade their first overall pick, and we're willing to give up a lot of trade capital, very unlikely. And finishing up our thoughts on the draft here, Michael says 2 options. It's either quality or quantity. If quality, we're going for trading up, Brathwaite is very interesting at number 1. Not sure if you have the capital to trade up, but the gem at number 1 overall screams a bump in potential, i.e. Brad Lambert in the Wild series going from elite to franchise after a year or 2. The offensive defenseman at number 2, also potential grab. Playmaker Poirier is also a great grab as well. Now here's quantity, if we're keeping our pick. Round 1, there's the defenseman Christie, who's similar to one of the greatest hockey players with a hard slap shot. Right here, Emiliano Christie. He has a similar style to Al McInnes and is 2 years away with medium top 4 deep potential. Round 2, there's Hart, Knights, Weidman, Niedermaki, and Kobasu, the last 2 of those being gems. In the later rounds, there is Curry as well. So we're going to be looking at those guys much more closely. Recommendation, this might be a quantity draft. We might have to trade for some seconds, but it can be done. Hate to use the pass, but just as you did in episode 17 of the Wild franchise, you drafted quantity and then used it to trade for quality later and also used those players to buff up the bottom 6. So you know what? That does make a lot of sense. We can't always go quality. We have to go quantity. At one point, I think this is a good time where we can let guys like Nicolas Roy and Rourke Chartier and Paul Bittner, let them go from the AHL team, start filling up the minors with our own homegrown talent. Let's get Kraken lacking. Thank you, Michael. Moving to other issues that we're going to be dealing with here in this offseason, Jenzy McKenzie, for the goalies in the NHL, I would go Peyton Wilm and Philip Gustafsson because Bishop is old and will regress over the course of the offseason and regular season. Meanwhile, Gustafsson is younger, cheaper, and will have the same, if not better, overall rating than Bishop by next season. Very true point. So not a decision we have to make now, but we'll be we'll be able to make a bit more of an informed decision by time September rolls around. Finishing up the YouTube comments now, Ed says we should call up Marco and Jiricek from the minors. Agree with that. Someone of Eberle or Palat, one of those 2 should be traded. I guess trading Eberle would be easier since he's on an expiring deal. Also, I would trade Alexiak, maybe even Hayden Fleury, and someone from the bottom 6, maybe Appleton, Roy, or Barré-Boulet, to open vacancies for young players. The keepers should be Bishop and Wilm. After a year, Wilm will be the number 1. Also, find a coach who will give you better chemistry, at least +1 in all lines. Good luck. Thank you very much, Ed. We'll be looking at the coaching market on July 1st for sure. Moving now over to the Discord server, Jiggles leaves a comment here about who we should be drafting. There is a very interesting name in round number 2 that you may recognize Not an American, but Eli Manning here, playing over in Liga. I suggest drafting Eli Manning in the second round. Not often you find a borderline Hall of Famer outside the first line. So this is more for the fun storyline purposes, but a great catch by Jiggles, of course. There was also a lot of discussion in the Discord server about what we should be doing with the goaltenders, whether Wilm should be our full-out starter, if we should sign someone to help him out. So make sure you're in the Discord server because can't always show every single comment of every discussion, but being able to discuss with all of you and everyone interacting with one another is a great way that enriches this franchise mode. So the link for that is in the description if you haven't joined already. So thank you everyone for those comments. As always, synthesizing all that in my brain. This is where GM Data gets paid the big bucks because in the off-season, this is where the decisions have to happen. When I consider the lineup for next season, here are who I consider to be the locks here. Well, not even the locks, just here's the lines. So if it goes McKinnon, Beniers as of now, first line left wing, and Tarasenko, if that's the first line, and Trocheck, Schwartz, and Palat is the second line, that leaves the third line, if Eberle's being let go, as McCann on the left wing, Dylan Gambrell at center, and then Isaiah Marco, our prospect, as third line right wing. We let Donskoy go. Maybe we trade Appleton because then our fourth line can become Cole Lind on the right wing, Matt Zuccarello on the left wing, and then the centerman can be one of either Mason Shaw, Barry Boulet, or perhaps even Ryan Suzuki. Maybe even they swap out with Gamble in the third or fourth spot. A lot will depend on offseason growth, especially Isaiah Marco. Maybe he plays second line and Schwartz or Palat gets bumped down to the third line. But that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. So the forwards is not really something we need to touch too much upon here. But now for the defense, here's where I'd like to make an upgrade this offseason. If Bear and Bean are still the first pair, and Pulak and Chalowski are the second pair, or something along those lines, I don't think Alexiak really has his top four spot anymore, especially after the season that Dennis Chalowski just had, where he somehow went on a Norris Trophy tear, and as an 82 overall had 19 points and a plus 20. Okay, not quite a Norris Trophy, but still, just to say, it was a crazy season for Dennis Chalowski. Jamie Alexiak making $4.6 million. Yes, he's one of the alternate captains on this team, original Seattle Kraken, but he's a good defenseman. He had a career year this last year, 17 points and a plus 17. But at the same time, I think there are better options for the same price, if not even less. Hayden Fleury has also been fine, so I'd be okay with keeping him on the third pair. Starting goaltender, I'm thinking that it would be a split between Peyton Wilm and Ben Bishop, with Gustafsson being third, but again, it'll depend on regression, growth, and all of that over this offseason, so I cannot make decisions on that yet. But heading into this draft, I do have an idea of a couple of trades I'd like to see if they make sense. So let's hop into the 2024 NHL Entry Draft and check, first of all, are there any picks that are open or up for grabs here? The second overall pick is, so the Flames have the first overall pick, they don't want to trade it, they're going to take Brathwaite. The second overall pick is up for grabs, and then no pick until 12 after that. So just to see an idea, I don't think we're even close to the value, I have to say. This is not a good year for trade value because guys like that we would want to trade, like Eberle, for example, is on an expiring deal. So I'd probably have to toss in either a prospect like Popov or a big roster player like Pulak, maybe Jared McCann as a third liner with a lot of value would be someone that we trade away. But even McCann plus the 19th overall pick, I can't even, they're over the salary cap, so I can't even toss in a guy like Alexiak to give them more value. So although it could happen for realism plus for just my own comfort, I don't think trading up to second overall is something I want to do, nor would it necessarily happen. Even if I threw in a second round pick, I'm not sure if it would be there. And then a first, a second, a roster player, a second roster player, take back a contract spot. I'm not sold on it. I'm really not. So I'm going to go ahead and sim through these picks here. Brathwaite, okay, so he was 81 overall, medium elite here, but he'll probably go, quite quickly with the zone abilities, X factors. He had A+ shooting, but only 3.5 stars? That's very odd. Not really the craziest athlete, not the craziest pick here. For first overall, Gem? We'll have to keep track of his career, but there goes Brathwaite. Okay, you know what? Not even crazy either for Carson Alberts. Neither of those, Alberts wouldn't be an NHL player right away, barring any growth, but of course, the zone abilities and all that, he'll be a good player down the road. But yeah, I'm okay with that. Avalanche take Baines here, medium elite sniper, 80 overall. Predators take Poirier, who was a 79 overall medium elite playmaker in the end. 3-star shooting, 4-star puck skills. Pretty overall normal prospect with some good superstar abilities. Let's go ahead and sim through the first 10 or so. D'Angelo Vickers brothers there. Lundmark, medium elite, medium top 6, medium top 4, Kapitanov. Hirima, medium top 6. Already we're getting into medium top 6s here at pick 6, 7, at 8, 9, 10 there. Hoffman, medium top 6, 77 overall grinder. So I don't know if I want to pick with this 19th overall pick. I might want to trade down. And trading down, I've been giving this a lot of thought. I know we could take a medium top 4 D-man, but there's something else that I'm thinking about here. So I'm going to sim to pick and take a timeout so I can add a little bit of time to the clock here. All medium top 6 forwards. Christie was a medium top 4D, 67 overall. Nothing crazy for 15th overall. Quinville was the best overall at 71 for 14th pick. Top 4D, 77 overall, Valesi. So I'm going to call a timeout. There's been a name that's been floating around for a couple episodes. It wasn't right last offseason. The timing wasn't right. But now it might be. I'm thinking about the New York Rangers and Keandre Miller. Keandre Miller is on their block. No, he's not, but he's an RFA who they did not sign. He's not happy with the team for sure after having to sit out for the entirety of the 2023-24 season. He is an 84 overall, 2-way D, 4-star defense, 84 offensive awareness, 5-star physical, 6'5", really a guy that we could use. Higher overall at maybe the same cost or so as Alexiak, a bit of an Alexiak replacement, but even an upgrade. 33 points there in 2022-23 as a plus 19. So if I could take Keandre Miller off the hands of the New York Rangers, who kind of, you know what, they squandered him. Maybe they could re-sign him now, but they're not happy. He's not happy with them. How about, instead of you losing him to free agency for nothing, I give you Jamie Alexiak, a big boy that you can, a bit of a downgrade, but you know what, he didn't even play last year, so it's an upgrade over the Ghost who was in your lineup. I give you the 19th overall pick as well, and then you trade me a couple of other draft picks. So I give you the first and Alexiak, because Alexiak is worth less, but the first is worth a lot. I don't want to just give you the first straight up for Miller either. I'd like to get some picks out of this because I do want to dump Alexiak. So how about I give you, or you give me 52 and then your 2025 second round pick. So a first and Alexiak for 2 seconds and Keandre Miller. What do you say to this, New York? Not where you need to be. I would like to get 2 seconds though, so I don't want to... I don't want to have to take a third back. How about I give you 179 as well? Still aren't where you need to be. A bit off in value. Throw in 216, so a couple sevenths. 19, 115, 216, 218, and Jamie Alexiak signed for 2 more years for the rights to Keandre Miller, who you're going to lose anyways, and pick 52 and a second round pick next season. Trade accepted. We believe this transaction will contribute to our success here in New York Rangers. So we are accepting your trade offer. Thank you very much, New York. How about that for a big splash here at the draft? Wow, so the Rangers now, they have back-to-back picks. That's true. So let's see who they pick with 19. Who could we have gotten here? And they take medium top 6D, 62 overall, David Chevel-Dave. Yikes. Yeah, it's not the greatest draft class, eh? And at pick number 20, they take a top 6 forward. So at least there's that. But, whew. All right, thank you very much, New York. Let's sim to the next round and see what we're going to do in round number 2. This is where we're going to start drafting now. Keandre Miller will sign him for hopefully even cheaper than Alexiak, and we get some picks out of it. And you know what? That's a very good trade in my books. We didn't pull the trigger last season, but we did it now. Trust the process, my friends. GM Data has it all in his head. Whoa, so medium top 6, but here's a couple of medium top 9 forward. Top 6D, top 9 forward. Yay, what? All top 9 forwards except for the guy who went at the end of the round, Varlamov, a medium top 6, 74 overall. Much better than the last guys. Yikes. So round number 2 now, 33rd overall. Where do we want to start thinking about guys we might select? Hart is the first guy we might think about. Eric Hart, low elite from the Kingston Frontenacs, a C- league, put up 67 points in 66 games. 3 years away though, so still like a low 60 overall, low elite potential. There's probably similar like guys like other low elites are Kenny Knights, also 3 years away, 6'4", two-way D. Because it would cost to trade up. That's the thing. I'd only want to trade up if it's someone I really want to go after because I already have this pick maybe for Niittymaki. I like Timo Niittymaki for sure, a top 6 gem. Unless I trade up for Eli Manning, but 5 points in an A+ league's not bad. 3 years away, similar to Jeff Carter. Power forward. Then there's Chuck Kreider. 3 years away again, 5'8". Calvin De Kaiser. Similar to Theo Fleury again, also decent numbers. I'm not totally sold on the low elites. There is Avery Wideman that has been mentioned a couple times, also 3 years away. I don't know, I'm not super sold on trading up. If they were our selections, I wouldn't mind selecting between them, but I like our picks later on, because with my next couple picks, I'll take Niittymaki as one of them, and then the one after that, maybe the one after that is one I could think about moving. I definitely do want Kobasu later on. And there are some medium top 6s later on as well. Let me sim through Pittsburgh's pick for a second here. They go ahead and take a low... Oh, they take Hart. Wow. So good thing we didn't trade for, like, Calgary's pick here, thinking Hart was going to go 4 or 5. He goes number 1 in the second round. So you know what? That was, at least I was smart. I like that a team took a little bit of a reach. Eric Hart goes to the Penguins. 63... Woo! Look at those X Factors. What? Eric Hart, but you know what? He's a wonky prospect, though. I don't like wonky prospects. 90 agility, but 65 balance, 85 shot blocking, 65 stick checking, 88 puck control, but 69 passing, slap shot 70s, but wrist shot 85, physical half star. Although there's the X factor in the trade value, but 63 offensive awareness, nah. I'd probably pass. If I could do it again, I would still pass. So let me see again now. At 34th overall, do I want to think about moving for Kenny Knights or Avery Wideman? Let me see what happens with Vegas' picks. I wouldn't even be trading for that one either. They take a medium top 9 forward. And then I pretty much got to take Calgary's, or I go for the Kings at 7 there. I'm going to risk it here. I'm going to see who's still available by 7. So Brophy, medium top 671 overall, goes to Calgary. Low elite Kenny Knights goes to the Minnesota Wild. Festerini, medium top 6. Did Knights have X Factors here? Yes, he did. So you know what? The low elites, even though the potential's not great, it seems as though they have the X Factors. And then the Sharks take Wideman, 63. I didn't want that, but he has the X Factors. Should I have gone for that? I don't know. We're learning here. We're learning, but still, should I have gone for that? There still is this guy Mahalik, Owen Mahalik. That's a risk, though. That's a risk. I don't know if I want to risk that. I'm going to pass. Mahalik goes to the Kings. He's medium top 6. Did he have any superstar abilities? No. So at this point, I might just wait for our pick, but... Man, should I have gone for those defensemen? Not the greatest overall, even Hart, not the greatest overall or potential, any of those guys, but how much value do the X Factors and superstar abilities have? Do we go after someone just because we think that their potential might give them an X Factor? I don't know. Some good medium top 6s, some good low elites are going here. Pick number 12, the Sabres do want to trade this, the 44th overall pick. We're picking at, what, 49? So, yeah, pretty much we could trade up for Eli Manning, or maybe even trade up to take Niittymaki. I might want to make sure that we get Niittymaki. That might be something that I want to do. If the Sabres do want to trade, do the next person Devils want to trade their pick as well. Let's not risk it, though. Let's trade up for Niittymaki here. Medium top 6 gem guaranteed. No need to play with fire after we already played with a little bit of fire. So I'll give you pick number 52, the one from the Rangers. I'll give you 52. You know what? Not even. I'll give you 50. No, yeah, let's be realistic here. 52 for 44. And then I toss in a 7th to see if that's enough to just move up, like, whatever, 6 picks, 8 picks. At 204, trade accepted. All right, so I squeezed the 7th out of it. Thank you, Buffalo. A 2nd and a 4th for a 2nd and a 7th. So let's see at 44, Niittymaki from Liga, I believe. Yes, from Porin Asat in Liga. Timo Niittymaki, welcome to Seattle. First pick of the draft at 44th overall, 65 overall, medium top 6 sniper, and a gem. We'll take it. A solid prospect for the second round. This better potential than half the guys in the first round, it seems like. So thank you very much. We'll go to pick 51 now. So between all those picks, let's see. So Yudes goes. Then Manning was a medium top 6 power forward. Too bad it didn't work out to get all of them. Meach, Graton, Palapuz, Paros. All these guys have great potential. Medium top 4D, medium top 6 forwards, all of them. So now the question is, do I take a risk on Chris Moss, or do I maybe trade down? 2 bars medium elite is Moss, the right winger. 2-bar medium elite offensive defenseman, perhaps, Victor Perzogin. 3 years away, similar to Mark Howe. There's medium starter guaranteed, Marcel Richard. Then some more. Then Kobasu later on. So you know what? I'll take the forward now. Then I'm going to take Kobasu after. Hopefully he has some X factors. So Chris Moss, 6'3" from the Mississauga Steelheads. Says he has some superstar X factors, but let's see how realistic that scouting is, because it's only 2 bars here. So 3 bars, that yeah, whatever. Let's give it a draft and see what happens. Welcome, Chris Moss. He is 62 overall, sniper, medium top 6 potential though, so we'll take it. No X factors. And a bit of a wonky prospect-ish. No, just not the greatest, but for medium top 6 potential, he can continue to grow. Next pick is going to be at 59, so we'll sim to that, but we're going to trade down at that one, so that's where we'll regain some value. Barnes ended up being top 6 as well. Georgia's top 6D, then top 9, Courtnall, Marco. I was thinking about Marco. He was 2 bars medium elite. Ended up being 2 bars medium top 9. So with pick 27, we'll probably trade this one because I don't think anyone's really here. No, I'm going to trade down for Kobasu. We're at 59. Kobasu's going at 66, so we'll trade down to whatever. Pick 63, which would be the Blue Jackets here. They have back-to-back picks, so it makes sense that they want to trade one of them. See if I can get them to squeeze out a 4th here. What do they say to that? No, not where you need to be. Of course, when I'm trying to trade up, I need to give the whole world, but then they barely give me a 7th, right? Can I get a 5th in next year's draft? A 2nd right now and a 5th in next year's draft aren't where you need to be. Blah, blah, blah. In next year's draft. Trade rejected. Just the 6th? There you go. So a 6th in next year's draft to move down and take Kobasu, the guy that I wanted. Thank you, Columbus. Pick 63. Let's go there. Perzogin was a top 6D in the end. Shoo! And Richard. They take Richard medium starter. So good for them. Maybe I helped them out. That could be their future starting goaltender. With the 63rd overall selection, we'll go ahead and select Braden Kobasu from Malmo Redhawks of the SHL. He's a gem. He's low elite, offensive defenseman. Hopefully some X factors makes up for the last ones we didn't get. Let's see him. 63 overall. And give me those superstar abilities. So now that's something I learned now. This is a good note for future reference. Low elite, it sounds like pretty much all of them have superstar abilities and zone abilities to boot. So seeing eye, exceptional power and accuracy on shots when the goalie is screened, elite edges, send it, thunderclap, tape to tape. Braden Kobasu, welcome to Seattle. Not too shabby, eh? And the second round ends off with a pick from the Predators, and they select a top 9 forward. Great. So now we're at pick 65. Our next selection would be at 80. Let's see if there's anyone between 65 and 80 that we want. 2-bar medium elite, some low top 6 guarantees. Low top 6 guarantees are always pretty fun. Not much at 80. We get a goalie. Gary Goalie, I think was his name. 2-bar medium elite. There's a 3-bar medium top 6 in Leonard Lyles. But no, I think I'll trade up for this one. I think I'm going to trade up. So and even there's this gem we want to try and get later on, Cartonen. We want Gilbert Lapierre from the Halifax Mooseheads. 3 years away, A- shooting, B- puck skills, or Glenn Bickle, BB, 3 years away, a bit not as well-rounded. But for a C- league, he put up 50 points in 65 games. Lapierre, also in a C- league, put up 42 in 63. But I am a bit more inclined to take him. He's 18, he's 17. Ah, man. Gilbert Lapierre. Let's see who wants to trade their pick. 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Neither of them want to trade their pick. Let's sim the first 3 picks and see what happens then. Nakamura goes to the Penguins. Popovich goes to the Canucks. And Rasu goes to the Lightning. Let's see if the Wild want to give me pick number 68. How about then 83 and a 5th in next year's draft? What do you say to that? Still rejected. Oh, isn't sufficient at all? Then you know what? I'm going to pass then. I don't want to give a 3rd and a 4th just to move up like 10 spots. I'm going to pass on that. So the Wild do take Lapierre, 63 overall, low top 6 power forward. Nothing special, just a decent prospect. And the Golden Knights go ahead and select Bickle, who's also low top 6. Actually higher overall at a younger age. So probably better that I didn't trade for Lapierre because I would have been a bit upset with myself. The Vegas Golden Knights, low top 6 Conacher. May as well just sim to pick number 80 at this point then. So low top 6, medium top 9 forwards, low top 6. A few low top 6 forwards went. A lot of them went in a row actually. So do we take the 80th overall selection or do we trade down? We do have 83 as well. So I could trade away 80 for the pick that would become the gem defenseman that I want to draft. So I'll trade away 80 for like 90, and then I'll select with 83. So you move up 10 spots. Could I get pick 112 out of this? I don't know. Like if I was trying to trade for this pick, that would be exactly what they'd be looking for. Sweeten it just a touch. So I'll give you 80 and 212. 80 and 212 for 90 and 112. That's a pretty solid deal. Move up 100 spots in that other selection there. So Buffalo takes a medium top 9 forward. Love it. Medium top 9 forward. And the Wild a medium top 6D. With the 83rd overall selection now, we will go ahead and select Leonard Lyles from the Guelph Storm of the WHL. 3 bars, medium top 6. So fingers crossed on this one. 18 years of age. He is medium top 9. I thought for sure the 3-bar medium top 6. You can't hit on all of them. That's a tough break, though. Definitely trade fodder in the future. Leonard Lyles. We'll trade to pick number 90, where we'll go ahead and take that defenseman. Medium starter goaltender just went then. Medium top 4 D-man. So with the selection, we'll take, once again, going to Liga. The Liga scouts were working hard this year. Ville Kartinen from Leksand IF. Low top 4D, defensive defenseman, 6'4", at 17 years of age. Leksand's IF. My apologies. 64 overall. You know, at 17 years of age, that's pretty solid. I will take that. I will take that. Definitely a lot of room to grow, but I'm okay with that. So next pick is at 112. Let's end off the 3rd round. Medium top 9, low top 6, low top 4, low top 6. Yeah, there's a lot of low top 6 forwards, it seems like, in this draft. This is pick 97. Our pick is at 112. Anyone between 97 and 112 that we want to go after. You know, 2 bars low elite and everything is tempting, but that's really a shot in the dark with so many medium top 9s around here. Don't know if I want to risk that. I'll probably end up trading that pick, actually. No one that I really see as super tempting. 2-bar medium elite, Sadikov at 141. Maybe. I'm just sorting by potential now. Anyone really? No, there's 2-bar medium elites that are left a bit. Any low elite guarantees? Yeah, there's not even. There's a 3-bar low elite, Curry. And about the top 6s. 2-bar top 6 and 2-bar low top 6. So the scouts aren't telling me too much from here on out. That's why I'm okay with trading the next pick that we have. Maybe even the next couple picks that we have. So sim to 112. Anyone go here? Yeah, low top 9s. Oof, this is not a solid draft class here as we get deeper down. So that's why now's a good time to trade, in my opinion. Try to swap picks for next year with a team that's not so solid, has a seller status. 4th this year for a 4th next year. Trade accepted. Thank you, Minnesota. No problem with doing that. Just get some picks for next season, and they take a low top 9 forward. Love it. We'll go to pick 179 at this point. I think now's a good time to start simming ahead. Really not seeing a lot here in this draft, so I'm okay with just getting it over with. 2-bar medium elite goalie here, a German. What's this guy's name? Blatter? Robin Blatter. 2-bar medium elite. You know what? Why not? Even though we don't... Well, actually, we only really have Wilm in our system, so I wouldn't mind getting a decent goalie that maybe would be like 5 years away or something. Yeah, like if this guy could be medium elite 48 overall, that would be solid. Robin Blatter, let's see it, baby. And oh, he's a psychic. 48 overall, medium elite. Blatter, let's go. Robin, that's a classic. If they when they have 5 years away, you know they're a 48 overall. Definitely a massive project, but could work down the road. Why not? For a 5th round pick with medium elite potential, I will take that. Going to pick 204 now. Last pick here in the 7th round. I believe it's the last pick, unless we have one more. Bass 2-bar low elite, but Koroluk here 3-bar low top 4. Probably low top 6, but I'll take the risk instead of the 2-bar low elite. Low 7th D, even better. And the guy that we could have taken ended up being low bottom 6. Oh, not bad. So that is the draft, my friends. A bit of a longer draft as we had more picks to make, but I'm pretty content with what we did, especially with what we had in this class. So some solid trades and some new names in the system. Nidamaki and Kobasu especially Kobasu. Too bad we didn't move up for Knights or Alberts or Hart. But it was a lesson learned with the X Factors for sure. Now we can sim to the resign phase. Our head coach and our assistant coach both have expiring contracts, but I don't know if they're coming back with the chemistry having been shuffled now. He's not the guy we once knew, and we have a couple of playoff exits under his watch. Scouts that I can re-sign, I'll get that done as well. Yeah, resign phase, we'll get Condre Miller signed on. So let's go to the contracts now and see how much we're dealing with. We have 17.245 million to play with, and all expiring. What kind of deal would Keandre Miller be looking for now? 4 years at 5.150. I'd prefer to get him signed to like a big 8-year type of thing to get him to the age of 32, but I know that's probably unrealistic a bit, especially having not played for a while. Probably a 6-year deal gets him to 30, then he'd want to sign another deal after that that gets him to retirement. So 85% of that would be 4.825. Not sure if he wants to change the duration of the contract, but let's try 6 years at 4.850, which gives him like close to $30 million for a guy who hasn't played last year and had 33 points in his junior season, as in like his 3rd season. I think this is a fair contract, 24 years of age. Let's see what Condre Miller has to say about that. I'm going to leave Eberle and Donskoy for a second. I'm going to take care of everybody else, like releasing Demers and Mete, offering contracts to Barry Boulet, Suzuki, etc. So let me just do that quickly. All right, so Nicolas Roy, I'm looking at re-signing him, but now he wants 1.15. He would be a fringe guy / AHL. So I'm going to go ahead and release him straight up. Chisholm here. The defensive market is tough here. Declan Chisholm, 2-way D, 5th round pick. I was happy to keep him. And he, for example, is willing to take 0.775 for 2 years. Perfect, sign on. But then you scroll all the way down to the king, Kyle Wood. I know he needs his money, but he is a 75 overall, and he wants 1.15. So I'll probably let Wood walk, and I'll just sign him on July 1st. Matejchuk here, we're going to get him signed on to his entry-level deal, as he was the, 23rd overall selection in 2022 for us. Henman here, low top 9, go ahead and just let him walk, don't need him. And now we can go ahead and advance today. Actually, no, I forgot about goalies here. Craig Anderson is still on board, 43 years of age, 79 overall, and he's willing to sign a minimum deal here. He wants 2 years even, but 1 year, 0.775, 2-way. You know what? If Wilm's coming up, someone's got to play in the AHL. So, Craig, why the heck not? I'll put you in the AHL. Joey Decord could probably be his backup, unless it's a goalie we really want in free agency. So I'll keep Decord in mind, and we'll see what free agency has to offer. If there's a good prospect, a decent guy with potential, I'd rather get him in the AHL system. All right, so all the contracts have been sent out, as well as the coaches and scouting. I sent our head coach a renewal, but the thing is, he'll likely just be moved down to associate or assistant coach or something, because I don't think we can run with him as our head coach next season, unfortunately, with the bad chemistry. Only has like a 50% fit with McKinnon on the top line, for example. Craig Anderson feels like he could impact the NHL roster. I was giving a chance. Bro, you were a waiver pickup, and then you played half a season, including playoffs, at the age of 42. Good luck in the unemployment line. Keandre Miller doesn't like the duration, so I guess we'll have to go down to the 4-year contract that he wants. But let's see. Phillips, Barry Boulet doesn't like the depth chart. Okay, I'll just offer him a bit more money. It's a 2-way deal anyways. Chisholm, Ruzicka, Suzuki, Mercer, Matejchuk, Isaiah Marco, all on board. So let's take care of those little stragglers here. Keandre Miller, will give him his 4-year deal. So he wants 5.150. So if I'm giving him less years, I'm going to definitely give him less money because he's going to get paid afterwards. So 4.4 is 85%. So 4.4 times, let's be more realistic, I guess. $4.5 million for 4 seasons seems like a solid deal to me. So now, Jordan Eberle, we do have the money for Eberle and Donskoy. The thing is, him being on the third line, for example, pushes McCann or Marco down. So McCann could play center, and then you move down Gambrel, and you have him as the 4th line center, but then Barry-Boulet, Shaw, they don't get opportunities. I'm not too sure about this. Plus, he's 34, wants $5 million. He definitely proved himself. Donskoy, for sure, we can't bring him back. He was just a 1-year thing for us. Did okay, not bad at all. Chartier also going to let him walk. It's tough because I don't know if I want to repeat the Eberle, McCann, and whoever third line. It was not very good defensively. They didn't have a great plus-minus. I think I'd rather just see what the offseason brings us and then make decisions from there. It's a bit of a risk, but I don't want to clog up the system so much that we have to once again put good players as 13th forwards or down in the AHL just because I'm giving time to a 34-year-old. As good as he was, I'm going to try rolling the dice without him. And we'll see what happens. It's not the end of the world. We can always make trades and do whatever to get players like him back. But I'm going to see what happens without him. Kyle Wood still wants too much. So I'm going to let him walk. I'll get him on July 1st. And then for goaltenders, I'm going to let them both walk, I suppose. So that's it for personnel here. And we can go ahead and jump to July 1st, assuming both of our players will sign on here. Giordano's not thrilled with the role you've offered. You're the head coach, bro. You're the head coach. I can't give you any more. Do you want to be the general manager? Do you want to be the president? Do you want to be the CEO of hockey operations? The president? What do you want? You're a coach, and I gave you head coach of an NHL hockey team. This guy, he's an assistant coach. I offered him assistant coach. He's not thrilled. Nasir Bartley, get behind the bench and just be quiet. Miller haven't offered him the money you feel that he's worth. Barry Boulet, easy decision. So that means just Miller has to be offered a bit more. 4 years. Let's try 4.650. Don't want to have a big stalemate going because he just had a whole year off from the Rangers. We're finally offering him money like over whatever. It's like close to $18 million now. Should be happy enough to sign on. Got the scouts here as well. And Miller still rejects this guy. 4 years at 4.850. How about that? I know it's starting to get expensive for defensemen, so why still rejected? Like, I know it's going to be soon. We're getting to a point in franchise mode where the 82 and 83s in free agency want like $5-6 million. So I know we're getting a good deal here, but come on, 4 years, $5 million. Then I guess $20 million for 4 years for a guy who hasn't proven that much in the NHL. I have to say, I don't think he's in a great position to be demanding so much money. Qualify him just in case we have to. If he doesn't accept this, okay, I was just going to say forget it. See you on July 1st. Easy decision to renew the contract. Important for me to get what I want. Blah, blah, blah. Great. Let's go to July 1st now. Here we go. Teravainen, Besser, Gensel, Malkin, Kopitar, Marchessault, Letang, Turcotte, Niku. Sami Niku wants $6 million at an 83 overall. It's just crazy. So we do still have $13.17 million in cap space. Let me see the goalies first and foremost. We need minor league goalies. So let me just sort by potential, I suppose, and see if anybody's out there. UFAs. Medium starter. Caden Primo actually wouldn't be a bad idea. Nhl Tarasov from our Blue Jackets franchise mode. A couple of low starters who are younger. You know what? Let's go for Primo and Tarasov. 1 and 2 in the AHL. So sorry to Joey Decord. But I'm going to give him, you know what? Let's go 3 years, max 2-way deal for Caden Primo. Why the heck not? And Nhl Tarasov, what does he want? He wants 2 years. I'm going to go 2 years on Tarasov since I'm not sure what's going to happen in 2 years' time. Maybe he'll start to grow or whatever. So Primo and Tarasov, let's get them in the AHL. This guy Latipov here, Vitaly Latipov, undrafted, medium starter at 19 years of age, but I can't commit to that. 56 overall, he has to be the backup in the AHL. There's other teams who want him who probably have more room for him than we do. Nashville and Montreal, yeah. So I'll let him go to a team that could use him more than just stockpiling him and using him for trade value later on or something like that. Sorting by potential over here, some low elites, some generated players here. Timu Curry. Oh, I forgot to take him. So was this the guy that I wanted to take in the draft? I totally forgot about Timu Curry. Was this him? He went undrafted and I was a free agent, I suppose. And Tutin here. Ivan Tutin, a sniper, low elite at 19 as well. I just made an argument for not signing that goalie. But now these low elites are here. Or I just take Curry. You know what? I'll just take Curry because I wanted him in the draft. If that is in fact him, undrafted. So I will take Curry, and I'll control myself. I won't take Tutin, and I'll have some self-control in that way. Some other guys here. 20 years old, low top 6, Slavkovsky, 3rd round pick from Buffalo. Why not? We'll throw him in the AHL. Any other young players? Doesn't look like it. Now we got to go and find the man, myth, the legend, Mr. Kyle Wood. There he is, Kyle Wood. He still wants 1.15 million. That's crazy. Unless I give him a 7-year deal. Obviously, we never want to scam the system with 7-year deals, but Kyle Wood is a guy we want in this franchise mode for a long, long time. So it's just at 1 year. I don't know why he wants so much for 1 year. So 7 years at, I'll give him 800K. 7 years, 800K for the man, the myth, the legend. Actually, you know, I gotta be a bit nicer. 850K for 7 years for Kyle Wood. What an absolute tank. On July 1st, now we also have to check out the higher staff screen. Some decent head coaches available here. Just looking at NHL head coaches. 1 A+ available. Green here. Brendan Green, 58% team fit. So this is with McKinnon, Beniers. This is how the lines are pretty much how we want them to be. Our Giordano gives us a 52%. 65 here from Cristiano Morrissey. Might be the guy here. That's some pretty solid fits. Loves Hayden Fleury as well. 59. Who is this? Ryan Suter. Hey, Ryan Suter's out here. Big fit for Bean and Trocheck. Not as much for everybody else. 60. Now we're at a B-rated coach. You know what? So I think Cristiano Morrissey's our guy. He got fired during the season, correct? By Montreal. That's true. So he had an all-time record of 128, 99, and 19 before getting fired by the Le Canadiens. He must speak French. So Cristiano Morrissey, I'm going to offer you the head coaching position here. So I'll give you let's go full 8 years, and I'll give you $5 million a year. Go ahead and offer that contract. Great. So offering him the head coach position means I need to fill up some, make some room in the coaching staff. Aubin here, who I'd signed on as a head coach, got moved to the associate coach. It would make sense to let him go to free agency, and he can be a head coach somewhere else. So Jean Aubin, I'll go ahead and fire him, which would make sense, and then I will demote Giordano to associate coach. Now I'll put him to interim NHL head coach. So if and when Morrissey signs on as head coach, Giordano can be the associate coach, as opposed to having a head coach and 2 A- on the associate and assistant, which wouldn't be too realistic. Now I'm going to go into the scouting market and see if there's any new scouts that we can sign on. Now in 2024, they're lots of A-rated scouts. So I'm going to take care of this, fire all the old ones, and hire all the new ones. Scouts are all signed on. There should be 7 new scouts joining the team. Unfortunately, I have to fire Zdeno Chara. Hopefully he doesn't come after me. So, yeah, there's not really much to do here in free agency because we don't have big splashes to make. We want to save our money for the extensions that we're going to have to come up to, like Matty Beniers, which we could offer right now here on July 1st, actually, and anyone else who has an expiring deal. So, although the money is there now, it's not really going to be there too soon, especially guys like Isaiah Marco here now. And Keandre Miller signed on. That's pretty much the only offseason moves we have to make for the core of the team. So all expiring here. Beniers, Palat, the big ones there. Even Appleton. I might think about trading Appleton. Tanev. It would give us a lot of money moving out another 5.5 million there. But it's just not really something we have to do right now. Oh, actually, we're not able to sign Beniers. I'm not sure why. But Palat I'm able to offer an extension to. He would want 6.05. He's coming off a career year. So yeah, I'm going to wait on Palat, that's for sure. And that's probably it there. So I'll let the rest just sit a little bit longer in free agency. We'll see what the offseason has to offer. That's pretty much it. I would like to make some moves in free agency, as we usually do, but the team is pretty much set. And we're going to see who tries to make a case for making the lineup. Even though there are a lot of tempting players and we have the money to go after them, I'm content with our team and I don't want to start messing with things. That's just it. Let's start simulating, see who signs on, and from there we can start seeing the, here's some scouts, the draft class for next season. We do the number randomizer. All the scouts signing on. Wonderful. Cristiano Morrissey. We really started off on the right foot by you offering me a role so ideally suited to my skills, so I gladly accept. All right. Our new head coach, Cristiano Morrissey. Too bad that we had to let go, not let go, but just demote, I guess, Giordano. He had 2 Jack Adams. Timu Curry's on board. That's great. He was a really good coach for us, but just the game update did him dirty. Tarasov's on board, Primo's on board, and Kyle Wood's here for 7 more years. And it's Slavkovsky also here. Great. I'm not going to trade Bishop right now. We'll see what the offseason brings. So everyone put in a lot of hours, work hard with Gary Roberts, and we'll see what next season holds for us. Before we sim to next season, we can do the number randomizer to see what kind of draft class we're going to have. In the last season, we went with, scrolling down here, it was a medium draft class quality with high generated prospect quality. So honestly, it was a bit weird because the draft class wasn't great. There were like a lot of medium and low top 6s throughout, but at the same time, there's a lot of like medium top 9s ranked highly for some reason. So anyways, we're going to randomize a number here. If it's between 1 and 30, it's low. 31 to 69 is going to be medium, and 70 to 100 is going to be high. So on my laptop here on the side, randomizing between 1 and 100 for draft class quality, I get 97. So poof, that's going to be a high draft class quality in 2025. And then for the generated prospect quality, randomizing, get 35, so medium, just barely medium. So a high draft class quality, which means that is going to be, quote, a quote-unquote strong draft class. And within that strong draft class, there will be a medium level of generated prospect quality. So not like 2 franchise guys, should be some solid medium elites, some good depth in the draft as well. High medium. This is going to lead to a pretty interesting draft next year, so I'm glad that the scouting is continuing to develop well. And high medium will be what we roll with next season. And with all that taken care of, we can now move to the beginning of next season, seeing what our lines might look like, seeing what kind of growth we get from our prospects. So I will see you in the preseason. So looking at the lineup, and there isn't really room for Zuccarello or Tanev. Zuccarello, I thought he was going to be 80, 81, be a 12th, 13th forward. He's dropped to a 79 overall, and we just have players who are better than him. He came as a trade deadline acquisition, signed him to a 1-year deal. Doesn't really fit our bottom 6 either, so not ideal. So try to package him and Brandon Tanev up. Tanev is also serviceable at an 81 overall. He could be an NHL guy, but again, not a great bottom 6 fit, and there's just other people to play that role. Free up more salary, why not? The Hurricanes want these 2. They're a conservative buyer team. I'm not going to take a crazy prospect from them. Jameson Reese, I'd see if they want to do that. High top 9, 79 overall at 23 years of age. 2nd round pick in 2019. Playmaker. Let's see if the Hurricanes want to do this. I think this is a pretty solid deal for them, but it's not where they need to be because I don't think Tanev really helps with the value. Even though it's 1 year left and he's an 81 overall, I don't think the salary really helps. Worst case, we keep him, but it's more Zuccarello. I wouldn't mind just dumping because we don't really need him at all. With the 6th round pick, does this get any closer? Isn't sufficient at all. So what if I just do straight up Zuccarello for Reese? Too far off. Throwing a 7th the year after, that'll be my final offer here, and they would accept that. So it's not as much that I want to get rid of Zuccarello, but that I'd rather fill the AHL with players that I'd like to have. I don't know, Reese, playmaker. I could see him making the NHL. High top 9, given the right chemistry. You know what? Let's do it. For a 6th and a 7th, let's do it. Good luck in Carolina, Mr. Zuccarello. I still have some roster moves to do. I got to sign a couple free agents for the AHL, so I'll keep tweaking that. All right, so we do have a good bit to discuss here in September of 2024, getting ready for the preseason. First line, we could continue to go Beniers, McKinnon, and Tarasenko and get that +1. On the second line, Schwartz, Trocheck, and Marco gives us a +2. Isaiah Marco has grown to an 85 overall, playing in the first of his 3 years of his entry-level contract, has a perfect fit for the second line, which is good news, and 5-star shooting, 92 offensive awareness. Cannot wait to see what this guy does, and he's going to be playing with Trocheck and Schwartz. Or an option that I've been thinking about here would be taking Trocheck, swapping him with Beniers. Beniers comes and plays second line center from now on. Good fit for the second line. We go Schwartz, Beniers, Marco for the foreseeable future. Schwartz can be someone we change out in the future. And then on the first line, we go ahead and trade Vinny Trocheck and get a first line left winger. Vinny Trocheck, he has 2 years left at $8 million. He's coming off back-to-back fantastic seasons, 68 and 76 points in his 2 full 82-game seasons with us. But the thing is, he was always just kind of a placeholder. We knew he wouldn't be here forever. But he's been playing very well. So do we continue to keep him on the second line, or do we trade him now while his value is high and get a long-term first-line left wing? There's a couple of options that I'll bring up in a moment. Third line, we could go McCann, Gambrell, and Palat. Gambrell only an 81 overall, but listed as a third-line checker and had 25 points in 82 games as a fourth-line centerman. 63 points in the AHL on the top line. Give him third-line minutes, maybe he'll run with it. I don't know. Fourth line, Ryan Suzuki. I'd like to get him into the NHL now because he has grown to an 80 overall, which is fantastic. First round pick in 2019. We played him in the AHL last season and he put up 63 in 82. But now the thing is, he does not fit well on the fourth line or really anywhere with this coach aside from the first line, maybe the second line. Cole Lind, on the other hand, does have a decent fit, 81 overall. I have no problem keeping him on the fourth line. I would have liked to have him on the third line checker, and he scored 28 points last season as a fourth liner, but that's where he is at the moment. Tanev, he's an 81 overall, two-way forward. Will he help the fourth line? He gives it a -1, or do we try putting Mason Shaw, who has also grown to an 80 overall? He does not have a great fit either, but 83 faceoffs, very good playmaker. Last season, he had 64 points in 82 games. Or do we even go even deeper and we try to call up Barry Boulet, who is still a 79 overall, unfortunately, but does he try to crack the NHL? Good playmaker again, but I don't know, not good chemistry, 49 points last season, and that's even with Appleton not being in the lineup. Do we just say forget Tanev, forget Barry Boulet, put Appleton as the fourth line left wing, but then what happens to Mason Shaw? Where does Ryan Suzuki go? Is it only one position for like 3 guys that are fighting for it? I don't really know right now. Third line scares me a little bit, McCann, Gambrell, and Palat, but I don't know, Palat had such a good year last year. Take away the offensive players that he's been with. He had a career high in assists and points. Now as a third liner, does that hurt him? Give him power play time? There's a few options for our forward core here, and the chemistry, again, is not ideal. Defense, again, the chemistry, I don't know what's up with the chemistry. 0-0, and again, +2, even though we have our new head coach. Miller, Bear, 84 overall still. Bean, Pulak. Bean still stuck at an 83 after he has played 2 full seasons of like top pair and 3 full seasons in the NHL now. He's still stuck at an 83, playing with Pulak at an 86. Chalowski grew to an 83. He's playing with Fleury with the +2 on the third pair. Goaltenders, Wilm has grown to an 83 overall, but so has Philip Gustafsson. So he and Gus are both 83, while Ben Bishop has regressed to an 82. Jeremy Lauzon, 7th D-man as an 80 overall. No problems with that. And those are the problems we're facing right now. In the AHL, Dawson Mercer's at a 79. He's right on the brink. Maloney at a 78, right on the brink. Rosean at a 78, also there. Reese at a 79. There's a few other players in the 78, 77 range. Defensively, David Jiricek, I wanted him to play defense this year in the NHL. Do we try him out? He's a 78 overall, or, he's listed as minor top 2D. He could stay on the second pair with Kyle Wood, getting his +5 for another year. Or do we try pushing him into the NHL? Then the question is, who comes out? Matejchuk also going to be playing with a +2 chemistry there. Goaltenders, Primo and Tarasov, and we're going to sign one more depth forward there. But I want to change up the lines. The lines are not as they're going to be for the forwards. The defense, that's how I'd like the pairs to be, but for the forwards, I'm still going to mix things up, try to get some more growth out of Vesa Heiskanen. If we do trade Trocheck, we don't know enough about the chemistry. My pro scouts are doing some reports right now. But here are some of the options. I went through all the first line left and right wingers in the NHL, and the ones who could play left, and these are the best options I came up with. Hall, Guryanov, Konechny, and Keller. Those are the top 4 choices. From a point of realism and from trade value, these are the ones that make sense. Taylor Hall, 88 overall, last year of a $6 million contract with Boston. Not sure if they want to commit to him. The team is aging a little bit. Maybe they want to move him out and get somebody else. They don't have great center depth either, so just coming off of a great 81-point season out of nowhere, do they want to capitalize on his value perhaps and get someone who can play center for the next few years? For a guy who's expiring, that could be something. Denis Guryanov on the Dallas Stars. Jason Robertson is taking his spot as first-line left wing. He's an 88 overall, has 4.5-star shooting, 92 offensive awareness, 2 more years at 5.35, and last season he put up a 60-point season with 20 goals and 40 assists. Thomas Konechny on Philadelphia. He signed for 1 more year at 5.395. He's a very good simulation player, very consistently 50-60 points, 25 goals, 56 points last season. I could see him being an option, another team that has a lot of depth in that kind of role. So maybe they want to get a centerman. Now Couturier 1, Trocheck 2 perhaps, and they have enough depth at wing to make that happen. Clayton Keller just has like no value. 86 overall, low top 6 potential. He has 4 more years at 7.325 million, but he has the 5-star puck skills, 91 offensive awareness, 4-star shooting. It's because he had a massive injury last season, I believe. 9 points in 18 games he scored, only 40 and 82 the year before. We know the Coyotes are a good team, but with that such like crazy low trade value, we could trade them Trocheck. I know it's to a rival. We could trade them Trocheck and take back Keller and maybe even like a first-round pick. So that's the tempting part of Clayton Keller. All these players are being scouted, so it's going to come down to what all of you think. Hopefully some reports get done in the next few days as I continue to simulate up to the start of the preseason. But until then, it's just a toss-up. We don't know who would fit. And I'm a bit disappointed in the coach fit as well with Cristiano Morrissey. The team fit currently shows as 64%, but really not good for the bottom guys. From Palat downward, it's only good for like Gambrel and Fleury. The top guys is great with Marco, Schwartz, Beniers, McKinnon, and hopefully taking out Trocheck and putting someone else in the top 6 also helps it out. But yeah, not as great as we'd like it to be. So I'm going to start simulating up to the preseason. I already sent out the scouts. They're doing their reports. Doughty from Maloney in 2 seconds. Drew Doughty. We're going to check out the trade blocks at the end of this episode. I know it's a pretty long one. For an offseason in which we didn't do too much, it's a pretty long episode. Heiskanen and Bishop for Brody and Schmidt. A lot of good defensemen out there. A lot of bad contracts that people are trying to dump as well. So September 20th, let's see if any of those reports are done. Taylor Hall, I didn't get a scout on him yet because there's no one in the region, but Denis Guryanov fits the 4th line. Okay, that's not good. That means it's, and they're pretty opposite from the 1st and 4th line, so that's not great. Travis Konechny fits the 4th line, and Clayton Keller fits none. Fantastic. Do I just forget this head coach and bring Giordano back? Like, it's not much of a difference between the two for chemistry. Maybe there would be a difference. I'll get a scout on Taylor Hall, but not looking good. Now another few days ahead. Let's see Taylor Hall's 4th line fit. No, okay, so he fits the 1st line. So it seems as though Taylor Hall is like the only guy that makes sense, and it's the one with the most trade value and the least security if we were to acquire him with the 1 year, $6 million. Who knows what he's going to be wanting after that. And he's the oldest as well at 32 years of age. So like the worst option of all of them is the one that fits the 1st line. All the others fit the 4th or none. So that's a bit upsetting. I'm not going to simulate through the preseason yet. I'd like to hear your thoughts on what players do you want to see and what means what. Like, give Shaw 3 games, and if he gets at least a +3, he's in. Give Barré-Boulet like 5 or 6 games, and if he gets at least this, he's in the lineup. So I want to hear your thoughts on what players should be playing and what would you need to see from each one of them for them to convince you that they should be on the team. Let's fly through the trade blocks here and end this episode. It's been a bit of a frustrating one, I think. It's been good, but it's been a bit frustrating. The Coyotes have like everyone on the block here, all the way down. You can see all those names. You can see here their contract situations as well. Feel free to ask for extended scouting reports on any of these. Bruins, not looking like much there. Sorting by overall, by the way. Prospects for the Sabres, Flames, TJ Oshie for the Hurricanes, Kubalik, Jenner, Foligno, Johnson there for the Hawks, prospects for the Avalanche, Voracek for the Blue Jackets, Klingberg and Lindell for the Stars, Dylan Larkin, wow, Anthony Duclair, Domi, Strome, Fabry, Lehkonen, for a lot of names on the block here in Detroit. Wow. Edmonton, nobody. Florida, Backlund, Bennett, Doughty, Danault, Suter, Kulikov for the Kings, Yandel for the Wild, Brown for the Canadians, Predators, Ekholm and Zaitsev, Devils, Kopp, Islanders, nobody, Rangers, prospects, Senators, prospects, Flyers, Sundqvist, Connolly, Ruda from the Penguins, Sharks, Benning, Osterley, Tanev and Falk on the Blues, Lightning prospects, Maple Leafs, Marchessault, crazy contract though, McNabb, Miller, Vancouver prospects, Vegas, Shea Theodore on a 1-year deal, and some other names, Capitals, Nicholas Backstrom, Chandler Stevenson, okay, Winnipeg, Lowry, Nudavara, Forsling, Schmidt, down the line they go. So no one crazy tempting, I'd say, but those are the blocks in the NHL. If you want to hear more about anybody, let me know. If you want a scouting report on people that weren't on the block, I can try to get those as well, as my scouts are working hard. Yeah, a lot of frustrating things, like what's going on with the coaching. Even with a good team fit, we can't seem to get any chemistry going. What's going to happen with the preseason? What's up with the goalie situation? What's up with Vinny Trocheck? Do we move a guy like Mason Appleton even as well? Do we try to get him into the NHL lineup? I don't know, do we just overhaul the bottom six? Palat's on an expiring deal. After such a good season, do we just move McCann and Palat because they both have a good amount of trade value as well? So maybe we just overhaul the bottom six and try something else for the chemistry because it's a bit weird down there. All expiring. I still can't offer Beniers a contract, but Palat has his demands. Now he wants $8 million. Yeah, so no extensions are going to be happening right now. Also, for more context, if you're interested to see how Giordano's fit would be with the lines looking as they do, I can just put him as the head coach for a moment and go and look at the same lines. So we had +1, +2, 0, and -1, I believe, with the fourth line as it was. Now it goes +2, -3. Who doesn't fit on this second line? But Trocheck could be the one who moves, so it could be, then it's a 0, so it depends who goes up here, but not great fits for McKinnon and Tarasenko still, and that fourth line's a -2 now. Isaiah Marco fits the first line, which is a positive, so you could go something like this, but still a 0. Yeah, not ideal either. Still, I could mix it up to try and find like a 0-0. I could probably get zeros everywhere if I played with it a little bit. But still not great, and the defense isn't great either. So probably Giordano being head coach is out, but Cristiano isn't much better. Also, while I'm at the screen, another thing that could be left for suggestions would be what, if any, X factors and superstar abilities do we touch upon heading into year number 4? I always like to say a max of 3 to add or remove if we're going to do any. So McKinnon already has a ton. Maybe Tarasenko we give or take a little bit. I don't know. Isaiah Marco already has some. Matty Beniers, we could probably add a superstar ability for him as opposed to just his X factors. Schwartz had a good year. Palat had a good year. I don't know if we want to touch on them, even though their overalls aren't super high. None of our defensemen have any. Maybe 1 or 2 for Ethan Bear and or Ryan Pulak would be a good idea. And Peyton Wilm already has his. So I'm not sure if this is going to be a big year for X factors, but leave any suggestions you may have if you do think that they should get some. Even if you don't know the names of all of them, just say an X factor for physicality or shooting or passing, etc., and I'll figure it out. And that's that. So I cannot wait to hear all your thoughts down in the comments, either here on YouTube or over in the Discord server, link in the description as previously mentioned. Thanks for hanging on here. It was an interesting draft. We got some good names. We've had some good off-season growth. In retrospect, like, maybe on July 1st we trade Trocheck and sign a player like that, but it's always impossible to know who's going to grow and what the coach's fit is going to be with them. You don't know until September. So we do our best and we go from there, and that is the position that we're in right now. You can also leave your suggestion for who you think should get the first or second alternate now that Jamie Alexiak is gone. So we continue to have Tarasenko as our captain. McKinnon has one of the alternates. Who gets the other alternate? There's a lot to think about after this offseason. So I'll probably take a good amount of time before the next episode, since there's going to be a lot of suggestions for this one. Make sure that you're subscribed, because there's other series going on at the same time. NHL 07 Dynasty Mode with the Atlanta Thrashers. FIFA 22 Career Mode with Arsenal FC, a series that just started. Over on the Twitch page, link in the description, we're doing F1 Formula 1 My Team, MLB Road to the Show, MLB Franchise Mode with the New York Mets. There's a lot going on here in 2022, and we'd love to have you on board for the ride. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you are excited for this upcoming season 2024-25, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.